like if I could have fell to the floor on my knees, I cried. Like, because that was always the dream I had for my website when I launched it. I was like, I'm gonna self-fund it, and I'm going to, if I lose all my money, fine. If I go broke, fine, because it's a dream I had. But I always wanted someone to either fund it or you know, buy a piece of it or something, so that I had the resources to grow it into the brand I knew it could be. So the deal just closed last Friday, and I just started like in the office. Like I have an office, and I get to hire a team, and yeah, we're about to grow this thing into like what my vision was. So I had 2 years of struggle and crawling on my knees and bloodied and bruised. I saw the finish line, but I was like, honey, I ain't gonna make it. Like, somebody gotta help pick me up and carry me or something. And now I'm here, you know, about to live my dream.
Advice can you offer for someone in this room who feels like they are down the road right now and don't know, they can't see the finish line. Like they don't know when that phone call is gonna come or when that next check is gonna come. What is maybe some words of wisdom that have helped you, maybe you told yourself that you can share?
I mean, I personally isolated myself. Like you know, not everybody can move to Arizona and retreat for 2.5 years. But being out there, it allowed me to get to know me. It was a lot of quiet moments. And I had to log off social media for a minute, because, you know, if you're scrolling your timeline all the time and everybody looks like they're winning, or your peers look like they're doing so much and they're just growing and doing all these amazing things, and you feel like you're being forgotten about because you're not in that space anymore, it could really do something to your spirit. But I've always been a person, and I think I heard Steve Harvey say that wasn't afraid. Like even when I started this new site, not having any money, but I took the leap, and you gotta have faith that that parachute is gonna open. Like you might be ready to hit the ground, but that faith and knowing that, like I think people feel like like when I had my website, I'm like, nobody's really, it's not making as big as an impact as I would like. You don't know who's watching. Like I had someone just call, I'm in Arizona, minding my business, doing fitness competitions, and somebody called me, like, you know, offering me a job, which eventually turned into him funding my business. Like, so yeah, just knowing that, like, if you keep being consistent, you keep working. I see you on my timeline doing conferences, you got books. You never know who's watching, who can one day call you up and say, let's do a partnership, or I want to buy a piece or fund, or what can I do to help you?
A little bit about where do you go to just stay in a happy place? Like what do you draw from, or what other types of things you do to kind of keep yourself in a positive mood, so in a positive mind frame, so that you can, you know, operate successfully in business?
I try to choose, I be mindful of the energy that I allow in my space. And that means like if I walk in, like I don't go to an event if I think I'm gonna walk into the room and the energy isn't for me. Like I knew this was gonna be an event of positive energy, positive women. But I'm really into crystals. That helps like manage my energy, and when I make sure like every waking moment I have of, like in New York, it's a very different lifestyle for me. It's almost a shock of how different my life was in Arizona than New York. You can't choose the energy. You get on a train, somebody, the other day I was on the train, somebody was hanging from the ceiling, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get the word, like it's too early. But I normally listen to headphones en route anywhere, and I'm listening to an audiobook or I'm listening to a podcast. I'm always making sure, instead of like scrolling my timeline or doing something that might make me feel away or feel like I'm losing, that I'm always like getting subconsciously, even if it's just, and I'm not fully listening, I hear positive stuff all day, every day. So that's how I kind of like keep in this positive mind frame, winning mind frame.
What advice can you offer just in terms of relationships?
I will say, I'm gonna be very honest, like I don't think I've been the best. I'm an introvert, so I haven't been the best networker, and every time I might see someone that's doing something amazing, you know, or they're everywhere, I'm like, she she knows how to network. She knows how to put herself out there. I haven't been that person. Like, I remember in 2007 when I couldn't find a job, which eventually led me to starting my website, I would send out resumes everywhere. But when I would get brought in for the interview, I would never get the job, and it's because I didn't know how to sell myself, you know. And so that's not my strongest strength, and I know that, and I know that's where I need to work on a little bit more to get farther in my career. So I don't feel like I'm the best at it. You know, I think I received an email from her. I never had a chance to respond back, and it's because I was laying in a fetal position somewhere in Arizona, like hitting my leg at the top, like, girl, if you only knew what I have going on here. But yeah, I do think like networking is Monks and Steve used to always say your network is your net worth, and it's so true. Like being able to put yourself out there, being able to sell yourself, being able to do the elevator pitch. You know, when you meet people, it's going to be the difference between them remembering you or someone else and offering you an opportunity.
What does Nicole look like in 10 years?
10 years?
I'm gonna be retired.
And I will say this, and I'm glad you asked that, because I think a lot of times we start businesses, but we don't have an end goal. And like with NicoleTV.com, I started a business, like I had the name Nicole Bitchy, like not even thinking like advertising wise, that's not gonna work out in the long run. So, and that hindered a lot of money I could have been making, but starting a business and having an end goal when you start your business, like where do you want to sell it eventually? Do you want to get an investor? Like where do you want to be in 5 years? And that helps shape what you do day to day and your goals. For me, I was just floating in the wind. Like, whatever happens, happens. And I did have that, honestly, I had the opportunity to sell NicoleTV.com in like 2012. I think they offered me like 2.4 million. But I knew, if like I put my site in somebody else's hands, I couldn't control the legacy of that brand anymore. Not only that,
What are 3 things that you think have helped you?
definitely consistency. Sometimes you start like a lot of people I want to be a blogger, and then they start a website and then they don't post on it like for like 3 months and they come back. Like you can't contain an audience if you're not consistent. And I think branding very much is consistency. When people think of you, what do they think of it? What are you consistently doing every day? How are you consistently making them feel? You definitely gotta have faith, especially as an entrepreneur, because it's definitely rough. And I think my biggest thing for entrepreneurs is like, what does 55 look like for you? And I think once you start thinking, what is 55 gonna look like? And I'm not saying that's a retirement age. It makes you like move a little differently. And network, like your network is gonna be everything. The way you build your network, your partnerships is like those 3.
You mentioned networking and you mentioned that not being your strong suit, and I feel like I'm in the same boat. What did you do to tackle that flaw and overcome that?
It's weird because I tried to take the easy way out, and I would try to go to events and have like a friend that's a big fan of mine. Like I just went to the Congressional Black Caucus last weekend, and I was with a friend of mine, and he introduced me to everyone, and everything I was like, yes, you're gonna pick me up. Yes, boo. But I always try to be with someone that's like believes in my vision, is my biggest fan. That could, if I'm not able to speak for me, they can speak for me, and then they can open the door for me to continue the conversation. Because like I said, I'm an introvert. I'm not the type of person, if I'm at an event, that will go up and introduce myself to each person. I'm in the corner, like, you know. So it's definitely an easy way out. But
You know how you talk about energy and how positive energy is really important to you. And you know how sometimes you have friends who have been around for a very long time, but their energy is just, you know, if they can't grow with you, they can't go with you.
yeah.
So how, and I'm sure you've had to deal with that in your own personal life. And so how have you dealt with that? Have you had to have those hard, tough conversations, or did you just kind of like ignore them and like, you know what, I'm just not gonna answer the call when they call me, or I'm not gonna text, or I'm gonna make up an excuse and we go out to dinner, some things I've tried. But what have you done like to kind of help with that or to move past that?
I might keep in contact with a little, hey girl, how are you? Just checking in, but I can't get on the phone with you and I can't hang out with you and take that energy. Like text, it can be real quick. At least you can feel like you're doing your part of at least like checking in. But like as far as allowing you in my energy and your energy in my space, I can't do it. So.